Well, welcome and good morning. Today we have our friends from MaskdAI with us to talk about AI. It's still relatively a new subject. I think people are pretty curious about it. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started. If you have questions, go ahead and type them in the Q&A down at the bottom. We will answer them as they come up throughout the presentation. So don't be afraid to wait until the end. Just go ahead and type them in when you have questions. We are recording today's webinar. It will be up on our website later on today. And I'm also going to send you an email after this. It will either be hitting your inboxes by the end of the day today or first thing tomorrow. We will include the video of this presentation, their slides, and I believe they have Gilbert and Radley have a little something extra to send you, a little bit of tools for AI to get you started on your journey. I will say that MaskdAI is part of our advisory network. And as part of your Washington Hospitality membership, you're entitled to 30 minutes of complimentary consulting every year from each area of expertise, whether that is HR, compliance, employment law, if you have questions about your P&L, and also if you have AI questions. Reach out to your territory manager if you would like to be in contact with any of them. And with that, I am going to go ahead and hand this off to Gilbert. Good morning, Gilbert.
Good morning, Lisa. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar. Thank you to Lisa and the WA Hospitality team for putting together this amazing event. And today we're going to be talking about AI automation in hospitality, unlocking efficiency for restaurants and hotels. My name is Gilbert Joseph. I'm the co-founder and CEO here at MaskdAI, and also the co-founder and CEO at Resto, which is our hospitality AI technology. And today with me is Radley Sonny. Radley Sonny is my co-founder and the CCO here at Resto as well. So a little bit of a backstory as to how my journey started with AI. Um, a few years back, I used to work for a friend who ran a health haircut salon for men, and he used to struggle a lot with his labor shortage issue. So at the time I came into the business, I realized, hey, we got to do something about the labor shortage, because it was affecting the customer service a lot. His staff, they had to multitask, like someone is cutting the hair, so the phone is ringing nonstop. So I had to figure something out. This was many years ago. So one of the things I came up with was creating a chatbot. The chatbot, after implementation, it took off so like pretty quick because the customers were loving it. They could now get immediate answers and all of it. This was way before AI came to the scene. So shortly after AI came up, I was like, yeah, it was time for me to, look into that field. And I was doing my research. The first thing that got my attention about the hospitality space is the inflation in the space, the thin margin. I'm like, nah, something got to be done about this. So I started MaskdAI last year, and ever since we've been providing, you know, consultation free information to hospitality professionals, basically. Today we're going to be speaking on the introduction to AI in hospitality space. We will be identifying some use cases for AI in the hospitality operations today. Also, we will discuss some of the AI tools that are in focus that actually help you address some of these use cases. And then later, we would have Radley speak on the return on investment for some of these tools. And then case studies, I have my very good friend, Scott. Scott is the owner of 19th Hole in Bremerton. He's a big AI enthusiast. So I told him, Scott, you definitely have to be a part of this today because I just want you guys to hear him speak and how passionate he is about AI in the restaurant space. And then lastly, towards the end of the webinar, we will, see how we can. I mean, we will basically let you guys know how you can get started for free, and then we'll take your question and answers. And during the meeting, feel free to ask questions as well while this the webinar goes on. So starting out with the myths, right? I've had the opportunity to speak to a lot of restaurant owners, and one of the first thing I hear from them is the customer experience side. They're very concerned with how does AI, meet customer experience in the hospitality space because it's a sensitive subject. Your customers need to feel welcome. They need to feel properly taken care of so they can keep coming back. So that was a major issue at the early stage of AI in the hospitality space. Um, People still think AI is robotic. It's not. With robots, what you have is a coded language, right? So they only do what they're told to do. They don't do anything else. That's why when you make a call and you speak to like an IVR, it just it's asking, oh, press one for this, press two for that. That's all it's programmed to do. With AIs, that's not the case. AIs have intelligence, and this intelligence literally help them make decisions still in the frameworks of everything that you train them to do, but they perform that. It's like basically training a teenager, right? You're like, hey, I want you to do this and do that, and then they just express themselves within that framework. That's what AI means in business in general, in general, right? So basically, how best do you use this intelligence if not put it to work in your business? So with AIs, you can have them handle your routine tasks, some of the repetitive tasks that you do on a daily, and they do it exactly how you want it because you have the ability to prompt them to actually do it exactly how you want it. So they can handle your calls. They can handle inventories. They can take notes. They can send emails. But the end goal is so that your staff can actually focus on your guest, your human connections. That's where humans thrive the most. So those boring tasks dumb it down to the AI, and that is basically what AI is in the restaurant space or in the hospitality space. Just to make you feel a bit more comfortable with how people are interacting with AI today, I decided to put this chat on. So this chart, as you can see, this is the Chat GPT mainstream across generations. Under 30, we have 58% of people under 30 use ChatGPT today. And I mean, that's the biggest or the most used AI technology today. Um, Ages between 30 to 49, about 41%. And then you have 50 to 64, 25%, and then 65 plus 10%. Now, bear in mind that this technology is only being commercially available for about 3 years. So this is a 3-year technology, and the adoption rate has been through the roof. As a matter of fact, ChatGPT, when they launched 3 years ago, they recorded the fastest adoption rate in the history of tech. They literally had 100 million users use ChatGPT in the first 2 months of their emergence. And today they maintain about 700 million weekly users and are processing about a billion queries every single day from people. Again, humans and intelligence, we are like this. We are an intelligent species. So when we find intelligence in other things, we like to interact with them. It's the same reason why you love your pets. You like your dogs, you like your cats, even parrots, even monkeys. The whole point is you love them because you feel like you can interact with them. And that is something we're beginning to see in the technology space with AI. The takeaway here is that your staff and guests, they already engage with AI tools. So hearing or interacting with AI in your business does not throw them off. They're used to it, basically. Uh, but moving forward, what does AI mean to an operator? Now, yeah, the hype, the frenzies everywhere, but what does it mean to your business from a day-to-day perspective, right? First, here is the time saving. It saves you a whole lot of time. It takes all the mundane tasks, the boring tasks, the things that you have to do, but you don't really want to do because you just do them every day, right? But I mean, that those mundane tasks that could be automated, it basically takes them and then do it for you so you can focus on things that are like more exciting and actually brings you more value. Now, that time that saves you a whole lot of time as a business owner, um, or your staffs, basically. But going forward, you have the unlimited idea and content generation. Now, this is the most, you know, used, or the most that I see people use AI is to generate ideas. You know, you can ask ChatGPT anything. You can create contents with, you know, in seconds, basically. And then, I mean, they do that, and they do that perfectly well. And in this webinar, you get to see how you can actually make that, um, you can get better results with that, not just creating content, but like I was telling my co-founder, you could be using the same chat GPT for the same task, and I'm getting a better result than you are. It depends on one thing. And as we go forward in that way, in this webinar, you get to learn that as well. The data-driven decisions. Data is the modern day winner of businesses, no doubts. If you talk to from Elon Musk to Jeff Bezos or whomever in business, they'll tell you they're data-driven cycles. I'm sorry to use that word, but my point is they don't play around with their data. The data shows exactly what is. Data is not assumption. Data is not something you want to try out. It's just what it is. It's facts, basically. So that is why, I mean, if you use every tech platform, this like now there's like data everywhere. It's in there's analyzed data for you to make your decisions with, and that's one of the things ChatGPT and AI brings to your business, is the fact that it can analyze all of your data and give you a concrete response that you can make a solid decision on, basically. And lastly, here's the revenue on autopilot. Now, this is my favorite part of AI. I like money. I'm sure a lot of you guys like money. That's probably why we're all here. But the point is, being able to put AI in positions where it can constantly generate revenue for you is one of the most amazing part about AI today in hospitality. And I'm gonna, as we proceed, you're gonna learn everything about how to make that happen for your business. Moving forward here, um, we are going to identify some use cases for AI today in hospitality space, and the tools that are currently being used to um, meet those needs. Starting with the marketing, you can auto generate social posts, images, videos, emails, create responses to your customers about reviews and all of that. You can use ChatGPT for all of that. And this is just a fraction of what you can do with it in the marketing space for your business. Um, the menu engineering, it can analyze all of your stars and plow horses, and also the profit swaps, the allergy map and table. It can do all of that brilliantly. And the third here on the roster is staffing and scheduling, and that is by 7 shifts. Now, 7 shifts has been around for a minute. They are, I'm sure some of you guys probably are very conversant with them. They do a very great job at streamlining your staff scheduling. So the whole point is having to automate sectors in your business. Those automation, they pay you. Um, the return on investment is that you don't have to worry about those things, right? So things like your staffing and scheduling and all of that, you can put all of those things on autopilot. 7 shifts now has an AI in their system as well that auto builds labor, optimal schedules that respect both availability, skills, and overtime limits. Another thing I was going to point out here is that is a quick example I had with an automation tool recently to automate my LinkedIn. I used to have about 100 connections, and I hated to have to go to LinkedIn and start looking for people to connect with. And then I found this tool, I think it's called Dripify or something, and I said, try it out. Now, the way they structure that platform makes it interact like a human. You can put the timing and all of that, and that is how powerful automations can be in today's world. fast forward to 2 months, I have about 500 real connections to the people I really want to connect with without having to do all that work for myself. I just have to pay, a, a cash for that. But with automation, you get results while you are at work doing other things that are valuable for you. Moving forward with the housekeeping and maintenance for hotels, you can create checklists, log defects, and plan PMs with ChatGPT as well. And lastly, here is the inventories, right? You can create your parts, an order list, and cost forecasting, and more. Now, here, there's only so much I can put into this, this slide. There's so much more you can do with AI that, if you use ChatGPT, I'm sure you probably know that already. Moving forward here, is how to use your ChatGPT. Now, just like I was saying earlier, you could have two people using ChatGPT and getting different results. This is why the prompts, the prompts, the prompts, the prompts. The reason why people get better results with AI is this one thing. It's called prompt. You don't have to be technical. You don't have to, understand coding languages. You just need to know how to prompt it. Now, I was telling my co-founder at some point, I'm like, the coding space has changed. Rather than be a technical person, you just need to understand your own language, English, right? And you know how it relates to to ChatGPT or AI, basically. So with prompts, you can get so much more done by putting in the right languages. And I'm going to show you guys in a second. With ChatGPT, if you're using the free plan, what you have is, the chat bot, you engage with it, and it's pretty great. It gives you a huge value for free. But the for the sake of this webinar, I'm going to be talking about the pay plan, which is the Plus. With Plus, this is how it can benefit your business using ChatGPT Plus. So I'm going to scroll here. There's something called GPTs. If you use ChatGPT and you don't see this, you're definitely on the free plan. But the Plus plan has something called GPTs. And how do you leverage GPTs or what is GPTs, right? Because you hear ChatGPTs and now you're hearing GPTs. GPTs are it's like you're conditioning the whole ChatGPT to one task. It's like saying, oh, hey, you have all this intelligence, but I just want you to focus on one task. So if you look at the left side of the screen, this is my own chat GPT account. So I have a marketing strategist GPT, I have a menu structure AI, I have a LinkedIn content creator, I have a thumbnail mastermind, I have a hospitality manager, hospitality GPT prompter, and this hospitality GPT prompter is a tool that we will be providing to you guys for free to help you guys with your prompts in the follow-up email that you'll receive from the association. But for the sake of this, for the sake of time, I'm not going to be able, because it takes a whole lot of prompt engineering, right? So it takes a whole time to go into details as I should. But like Lisa said, you can always book a free consultation with me as a member of the association. But for the sake of this webinar, I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to take this one GPT and then I'm going to go into it and show you how it's done. If you want to create a GPT, all you need to do is click here. You see the create button, and then you can basically click on it, and then it takes you here to this user interface. Now, in this spot, you have two ways of basically prompting this. The most used is to go to this part and just interact with it. You can tell it, hey, I want to create a marketing, uh, a marketing partner, you know, or whatever it is, and then it can interact with you again to get to understand exactly what you're trying to create. So it's asking you, great, to clarify, are you looking to create a GPT that acts as your marketing partner? If so, could you tell me more about it and all of that? So you can follow all of these guidelines, and while you answer it, it gets to know exactly what you want, and then it helps you automatically configure the GPT here. Now, here's where things get a little bit tricky. Here is the prompt. The reason why I created a hospitality GPT prompter is that GPT actual prompter, which I just showed you guys, it can only do so much, but it does perform according to the way it's been programmed by OpenAI. Now with OpenAI, some of their priorities are that the amount of text in creating a GPT has to be minimal. So if you the details are not really there. So for this GPT, if you look at it, it's like a whole lot of text in there. I had to reprompt the GPT itself so that it could be very detailed because again, you want to be as detailed as possible to get the best result. If you can explain to AI that, hey, do this one thing, it does it better. But if you think like if you try to just throw in something generic in it, it gives you some responses, but not really the best result. So in this prompt, it goes way deep in the analysis.
Question for you, Gilbert. But I think you maybe.
Cover. I'm sorry.
There we go. I think you froze for a little bit there. I have a
Oh,
question
I'm
for you.
sorry. Okay.
Does this kind of technology, if this is it, does it just work this way with Chat GPT, or can you use it for Copilot or Gemini or Claude or any one of those things that are out there?
Right. I believe Claude has the same, but I've always used ChatGPT since it's been out. I know Claude uses something like this, and I know no, Grok does not. Grok does not use this. I'm not sure if Copilot does, but ChatGPT is kind of like the leader, so I just stuck with them basically. But yeah, we're good.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, so if you go through the details, then you take your time with this, then you're going to get a better result. But my point is, you after the prompting, you have the description, the name of the GPT, the conversation starters, which is the auto this information here. You can just basically click on it. But here is where things get a bit better. And this is one thing I don't think a lot of people know about. In creating a GPT, you want to give it as much data as you can find. So this is a thumbnail mastermind, but what I did was I went online and I downloaded a bunch of thumbnails from MrBeast. MrBeast is a very popular YouTuber. I think he's the most followed person on YouTube. But there's something about his thumbnails that makes people click on his content, and that was what I was trying to replicate. Now I could go ahead and say, "Oh, hey, yeah, I just prompted it, and then just create the GPT, and it'll be okay." But to be able to meet the standard that I'm looking for, you want to give it more data. So let's say if you're trying to create marketing materials for your restaurant, you want to find similar content online and then throw it into the knowledge base here. Let's say Chick-fil-A, I don't know, or McDonald's. If you get more like their type of marketing materials, you can throw it in there, and then it's not going to give you exactly what you throw in there, but it will keep the standard in consideration when it's creating your response basically, or output. So that is how you can create a GPT. I'm not going to go again into so much detail. If you wanna have a better understanding about this, you can definitely book your free consultation with me, and then we can have we can basically help you out with that. And then you just click the create button, and then you're good. You can interact with it. So in the next slide, I'm going to show you guys what this GPT was able to do. This is a marketing material I created for one of my content. On the left is a graphic design. On the right is a prompt. To create this on the left, you need at least, for a graphic designer, they need at least 3 days to be able to make this happen. This was done in seconds, just because it has a direct data on how to that it could basically reference, and the quality is the same. I mean, you can see for yourself. But my point is, with a good prompt and a great GPT, you can get things done at the very level that you want it to be, basically. Rather than if I threw this in like if I had like a free plan and I just, ask it to create something for me, it doesn't really know exactly what I want. So it just gives me something real nice, but probably not there. Um, but yeah, that is it for the prompts. Moving forward to, oh, again, I'm sorry, the ChatGPT masterclass. If you want a masterclass or a moment, you can basically book a consultation with me, like I said earlier. Now, going into the main use case for today, this webinar, this is the use case in focus. The reason why I said that is because this use case is direct revenue for your business. So I'm talking reservation, food orders, inquiries, for hotels, that's room service, that's, taking phone reservations and all of that. But the point is, uh, these are the revenue streams for your business. So how do we automate this use case is what we're about to, nibble on. The first here is online. Your online system is practically automated because your customers just go to your website or on DoorDash and they just place an order. You don't have to do anything. But it's one part that is yet to be automated, which is your phone system. You still have someone answering those calls. You still get those phones ringing on a daily. And you want to be able to automate that because if you can, your staff can focus on a whole lot better stuff than answering the phone lines, right? Especially during your peak hours. So how is AI currently helping in this space? Um, Today, this is what your phone system look like. I mean, you literally have like a server, probably attending to someone and then also trying to answer a customer. With that, you get a lot of missed calls, about 30% of missed calls at the very least, probably 20 to 30 at the very least. We see up to 60% missed calls literally in restaurants today. Because if you don't have a phone system at all, like someone to mount that phone, you're probably missing up to 60%. And that's revenue loss for your business, flat out. If people are calling your line, they're calling for two things. I always tell people, they call in to either give you money or complain about something they paid you for. But the whole point is they're calling you for, something that is related to your business. Now, if they're calling for your food orders and you cannot capture it, that's immediate revenue loss. If they're calling for reservation, you can't capture it, that's revenue loss. If they're trying to make inquiry and you can't capture it, that's customer frustration. And that leads me to the next point here, which is the call hold time. We've all experienced this. We hate it. I hate being on phone for 2 minutes, not getting response. And that is what we have today without AIs. But with AIs, oh, I'm sorry, one more point. We have the staff burnout. This is one of my favorite part to talk about. And this is why. Because a few months ago, I walked into this restaurant downtown Ann Arbor. I live in an I live in Ann Arbor, so this one restaurant is one of my favorite restaurants. And then I walked in there. I was speaking to the bartender. I ordered me a drink, and he was pacing a lot. So I asked him, "Hey, man, what's going on? Like, why are you pacing?" It's like there's just so much to do, according to him. And then I asked him, "So who handles your phone line?" He pointed to the door. He said, "That's the owner of the business, the owner of the fine dining. It's called Black Pearl." And he told me, "Yeah, that's Jake. Jake handles the phone, but the phone keeps ringing. They have to multitask. Real." So I walked up to Jake. I was like, "Hey, Jake, I hear you guys have to multitask a lot. Your guys have to multitask a lot. Don't you think it's stressing them out?" It's like, "Yeah, but we still have to answer the phone and all of that." So what I did was I put up my phone. At that time, we already started MaskdAI and Resto. So I put up my phone and then I demoed an AI for him. He was done. I mean, let's just say at the next day, I was meeting with his accountant, basically. But this is what is currently out there solving this problem for restaurants. Is Resto's AI receptionist. Now I know a lot of you guys might be thinking, "Oh yeah, it's just probably some robot voice or something." Nah, this is not. This sounds exactly like your staff. It sounds literally like you do, and this is why. For the first time we have a technology that can actually clone a human voice. Exactly. That's the reason for so many deep fakes out there. People use it for different reasons and all that. But if you bring it into business, this is the value it provides. It can basically sound exactly like a human that it's hard to distinguish if you're talking to an AI or an actual human. But with this, your customers feel more comfortable and confident interacting with a technology because first it's intelligent and then it sounds exactly like human. So what are some of the things that this AI do that makes it super unique on the phone lines? It captures 99.9 customer calls, no missed calls, no voicemails, no frustrated guests. How does that happen? This technology has something called the simultaneous call answering. Now, what is the simultaneous call answering? This is the ability to simultaneously answer multiple calls on one phone number. So let's say 50 people are calling your phone line right now. Maybe like it's a peak hour and you have 15 people trying to reach your phone line all at the same time, just one phone number. With AI, everybody can call in and get answered at the same time on unique use cases. One person might be calling for a food order, another person is trying to make an inquiry, and another person doing a table reservation. And the AI is literally attending to everybody, capturing all of that revenue for you in real time. Now, that is the limitation we have as humans. It's that we can only interact with one person at a time. If you have one person handling the phone line, that means if you have three people calling that phone line, they can only talk to one person. And as you know, it's annoying, it's frustrating. So they most likely might just hang up or something. And then you potentially lose that revenue or they go to somewhere else. But you get that with AI, you get the opportunity to capture all of your revenue. So that increases your bottom line right there. Um, you also have the options for different voices, even accented voices. So if you run an Indian restaurant, right, you actually have an Indian voice to go with it. You have various like options to choose from and say, okay, cool. I prefer this voice. I prefer that. I think I was speaking to a restaurant owner the other day, and he was like, yeah, sometimes he would prefer to use different voices for different part of the day. I'm like, well, you can do that right now. You have more staffs than you can use. But the whole point is the options are there. And another very useful value here is the fact that they can actually route calls to your staff. So let's say a customer calls in angry first because they understand intent, they know a frustrated customer. And what they can do right there is ask, hey, would you like to be transferred to one of our staff or my colleague? And, depending on what the customer wants, it can actually route that call back to staff and say, hey, and your staff can handle that in complex cases. But right now, it can perform almost everything your staff can do on the phone, which is take reservations, handle your food orders, and inquiries. Lastly, here is that it also remembers your repeat customers. This part is almost not believable, but it's true. AIs have something called memories. They can store information and they can remember exactly the last conversation they had with you. So with that capability, if you have a customer that calls your line, very often to place an order, the AI remembers exactly what they're trying to order, and it's just like your staff would and say, "Hey, Josh, would you like to order the usual?" And basically, Josh is like, "All right, cool," and then just takes that order, and there you go. Um, Moving forward, this is how it works. This technology. If your guest calls, the AI answers it, understands the intent, it instantly books the reservation and captures the food order, and then it pours that information into your POS system or your reservation platform. So let's say if you use OpenTable or Toast or Clover or um, Square or whatever but it takes that food order and punches it into your POS system and even your KDS. For those of you who use POS systems, it punches out food order into your KDS. So it's basically like a human taking a phone call and then punching in those orders into your system. The good part about AI is that they don't make mistakes, they don't make errors. I was speaking to another manager a few months ago, and he was like, our staff, I think they have about to hostess in the front of house, and he was like, we get we get a lot of losses on errors, basically data entries, because while it's super busy and packed out, it's hard for the hostess to, get everything accurately and then not cost them money basically as a business. But AIs don't make such mistakes. They answer every call and then they provide you insights and follow up with your guest, basically. This is like a live simulation of what a conversation looks like with an AI receptionist. They answer the call, but this is like the text form of the simulation, as you can see on the screen. Right here, you get to see the ROI before we get to the case studies. This is what the ROI looks like. And here I'm going to have Radley come on to speak to you guys on what to expect from a return on investment perspective. Right.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Gilbert. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. I really appreciate it. And if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. We'll be glad to answer those. But what I want to do now is give you a quick snapshot of how we help operators see their return on investment from day one, as soon as AI starts handling the calls, right? So we built this calculator. It's a live calculator. We can share it with you as well. I know there's other dynamics and other inputs that we can put. We do have a larger calculator that we can share with you that kind of distributes the call intent and also some of the margins. But this is a simple calculator to help you kind of understand kind of what you can expect. And then this specific example here kind of shows you exactly. We've spoken to hundreds of operators, and they keep telling us we get about 1,000 calls per month. So this here illustrates 900 calls per month, or about 2,700 minutes per month, because the average call time is about 3 minutes. But here's the problem. On average, and I think, Gilbert had mentioned this earlier, 30% of calls are being missed by restaurants. In this example, I put it down to 25. But here, as you can see, there's 225 calls every month that are potential orders or reservations that are slipping away. And that's where the AI comes in. That's where Nola. So we named our AI receptionist Nola. And he or she helps to capture those missed calls and converting them into revenue. Now, there are two big drivers here from what this illustrates here. On the right side, time and cost savings and the recovered revenue. The recovered revenue is recaptured orders, right? So that represents 225 of those missed calls. And at a $35 average order, we're looking at close to $7,800 in recaptured money. But we're saying we're only going to capture 70% of those. So that drops it down to $5,700. So we've also accounted for the hour labors, right? If you look at the hour labors or the labor savings for an entire month, for 2,700 minutes, that's about 45 hours for the entire month. And so that gives you about $900 in savings just in using our service, right? Just remember, Nola is going to take over the phone for you. So no one's going to manage those calls. So those are hours that you don't have to pay somebody for. Those are hours that Nola's going to handle for you. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Yeah, we have a question from the audience. Do you have a hotel customer that currently uses your AI receptionist to take all incoming calls at their main switchboard?
I'll let Gilbert answer that.
We currently are not servicing in the hotel space yet, but we do. We are working on our pilot, so we have about 5 slots, I think, available to run a pilot with hoteliers. So the email that goes out would have that link as well for you to enroll for that pilot if you would like to pilot with us in your hotel. So yeah, we are looking to bring it into hotels as soon as possible. So yeah.
Great, thank you.
Gilbert, do you want to go on to the next slide? So when you can see from the last slide is, when you combine labor savings with the revenue, you do start to see that the ROI is immediate. And so in month one, these are some of the results that you can typically see. You can see recovered missed revenue, right? Turn every missed call after hours or a booking, right? That's what we're going to help you with. That's what AI can help you with. It can help free up your staff, let your team deliver the surprise and delight your customers, right? That's what we want them to do. And in addition to that, and I think, and Gilbert will touch on this, you can improve your online reviews, right? For the most part, what are the best practices? Are there any best practices? Could you send up a follow-up text the following day after a booking or some event that you had the prior day, right? That helps to kind of keep you engaged with the customers. And that's really kind of what we're looking for as customers. But all this happens right away. You don't have to wait months to see this work for you. And so this is, if you have any questions based on this, and again, we do have a more sophisticated calculator that takes into account call intent and margins. But we can, and if you want me to share that with you, we can share that with you as well. But that's how we're looking at this. Thank you, Gilbert.
Thank you, Rad. So one of the best ways I love to, prove this technology is by having people actually hear it for themselves. So right here, I'm gonna make a quick call to Nola, and then you can hear Nola in action.
Thank you for calling the Resto Pizza. This is a recorded line. Nola speaking. How can I help?
Hey, Nola, how's it going? Can you make a table reservation for me?
Of course, I can help with that. What time are you thinking and how many guests will be dining with us?
5 of us, please.
Awesome. And what is the best name and phone number for this reservation?
Joshua Carrington, and my phone number is 415-909-6270.
Perfect. To confirm, I have your reservation down for what time are you thinking? Joshua, under the name Joshua Carrington, with the phone number 415-909-6270. Am I right?
Yes. Make it for tomorrow at 9 p.m.
Sounds good. So I've got your reservation down for tomorrow at 9 o'clock p.m. under the name Joshua Carrington with the phone number 415-909-6270 for a party of 5. Will that be all for today?
No. Can I do a takeout order for a pepperoni pizza?
Got it. And takeout it is. What would you like to order today? You mentioned a pepperoni pizza. Is that correct?
Yes, please.
Solid choice. Our large pepperoni pizza goes for $19.99. Would you like to add a side or make it a combo, Joshua?
What sides do you have?
We have a medium pepperoni pizza for $13.99, a large for $19.99, and an extra large for $29.99. Which one would you like, Joshua?
Let's do the extra large.
Alrighty, so I've got one extra large pepperoni pizza for $29.99. Your total comes to $29.99 plus a $1 service charge, so $30.99. We'll have it ready for pickup in about 20 minutes, okay?
Okay, thank you very much, Nola. Bye. Anyways, yeah, that was Nola. Nola, she gets way better after installation. So as you may know, the way AIs work is that they learn from interaction just like humans. So the more she interacts with your customers, the more she literally gets better. And at some point, I think about a month to 2, it just sounds like autopilot. It sounds like your staff talking to your guest or your customers basically. But here we're going to move quickly to the case studies to show some of the case studies we're currently seeing in the industry. You have Texas de Brazil. They had a major issue with their phone lines. I think their CSAT was down up to by I think about 40% or so. And 90 days after installing this technology, they recorded 96% in 90 days. And this was a comment from Jad Izidin, that's the brand director at Texas de Brazil. He said our CSAT score is so far with open table integration call experience is really, really high. Our caller satisfaction is at 96% for the last 90 days. And also Melting Pot, they installed this same system through a provider called Poly AI. They provide for enterprise in hospitality space. Basically, the comment from Randy Burnett, who is the CTO at Melting Pot, he said we felt like we were losing revenue opportunities due to missed booking calls and needed a solution. So Poly AI was recommended by OpenTable to them, and there we go. That was the magic that happened in those big chains. And right now we're seeing a whole lot of like restaurants moving in this direction. Very quickly, I'm going to bring Scott to this case study part. I really want him to speak on um, his experience with AI. Scott is a huge enthusiast of AI in the hospitality space. I've had a whole lot of chat with him. He's doing really great in Bremerton. So I'm gonna give the floor to Scott right now. Hi, Scott.
Yeah. Hi, Gilbert. How you doing? Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm new at the AI thing and I'm learning it as I go. My wife uses it more than I do. I mean, we have 6 small children, so we use it from anywhere from asking it questions that you would ask a doctor to, what can we go do with the kids today? And it's amazing how much AI has changed our lives in the little time that we've had it. We own three small restaurants. We use it every week. We use it for announcements. We use it for meeting notes. We use it for anything from write-ups to how to deal with a customer or how to deal with an employee. It's almost like having an attorney and a doctor next to you at all times just to get a second opinion. So for that fact, I love AI and I've learned to love it. I was a little leery about it at first. I think everybody was, but as you start to use it, it's been a great tool. As for this deal with the answering thing, obviously it grabbed my attention because all we do is hear that phone ring almost every day. It just constantly rings and we're always trying to chase it. And we have these small windows of opportunity, during the lunch push or during the dinner push. And, here we are trying to take care of the people that are in the seats, but we also want to accommodate the people that are calling. But I think we can all agree that the money in to-go services, it's just not there anymore. You're paying for to-go boxes, you're paying for napkins, you're paying for people to come in and take to-go food and not tip out your staff that's using a gift card or, it takes time. So really, I think what they're selling to me, the value is the time, right? You're saving me time. And you're saving me time by not making my staff sit on a phone all day and take 100 calls during a dinner push when the people that are sitting in the bar stool or in the chair are the ones that really are the ones you need to focus on. So that's the value for me. Our staff, I want them to focus on the customers there. And I think the one thing that they forgot to mention, which I really, really appreciate, was the integration with Toast. And I pushed them hard on this, and they know that like this was the deal breaker. Like if that call comes in, we have to be able to send it to the KDS in the kitchen, right? I don't want my girls or anyone on the floor touching the phones. I don't want them to have to, rewrite it or replug it in. Back in the day when DoorDash started, we all, used to have the tablet and then the order would come in, then we have to put it in the POS. Well, that's, we're stepping over, dimes to pick up nickels. So I just feel like the one thing that they did for me, which I appreciate so much, was really dive into this integration with the KDS in the kitchen, which is we don't even need the front of the house to even touch it. We can just go straight to the kitchen. They can see the order. It pops up, and then whoever the runner is, bar back, whatever, can go put the food on the bar or whatnot where they can pick it up. So that was another one that I really felt like kind of sold me on this technology. But yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions. We're kind of, I'm pushing these guys really hard on certain things, manners, how to talk to a guest, the flow of the conversation, because it's all important, right? And so today we were talking about like, what if we were to have Nola listen in on our phone calls for 2 weeks just to kind of get a baseline of the type of communication that we use. We're not in New York, obviously. We're in Bremerton, Washington, so it's a little different, right? And I'm sure it would be different if you were in Texas or if you were in LA, and I'm sure she can adapt to all of that. But for us here in Bremerton, Washington, we have an older clientele and we don't want to push them away with technology. We want them to feel comfortable with it. We want to be transparent about it. So, it's a work in progress, and I'm very hopeful that this product of theirs is going to revolutionize the market space. I really do. I just think technology, all in all, you had mentioned 7shifts earlier. What an amazing tool 7shifts is. We use that optimizer for labor all the time. And that was like 2, 3 years ago when that came out, and it was a game changer. And with the cost of labor and the cost of goods sold continuing to rise, I mean, every penny counts. And I think these guys are really wanting to help us. So that's it for me. If anybody has any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Scott.
Yeah, you're
But
welcome,
yes,
bro.
I'm super excited to work with 19th Hole. Scott is super passionate, and thank you again, Scott, for that.
Yeah.
Wrapping
Yep,
up on this, to get started is pretty easy. You can get started for free. No risk, it's all rewards. You can get onboarded in minutes. Sign up is pretty quick. You just go to our website, www.maskdai.com. That is www.maskdai.com. You can create a sign up account there, and it's no credit card required. You can get started for absolutely free. The AI is going to take your inquiries to start. It would answer every single question about your parking, your gift cards, and every single thing your customer would have called your staff to inquire about. And when it comes to your food orders, for the free plan, it takes those calls and sends it to your staff. And then also takes those calls for the table reservations and send them to your staffs as well. But he handles your inquiries itself, basically. But the whole point of the free plan is so that your team can start getting adjusted to what it sounds like, and your customers can start get comfortable with the technology, and you yourself can start seeing what it what it looks like in house. And then when you're ready to upgrade, we will take you on to the plan where, like Scott said, we can integrate into your POS. Nola can answer all your food orders. It learns all your menus, takes your table reservations, and then handles everything hands off for you. So you can connect and go live almost immediately with that. So that brings us to the end of this webinar. We can take your Q&A if you have some. I'm happy to take them. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Yes, thank you, Gilbert. We have a couple minutes left. If you have any questions from the audience, go ahead and type them into the Q&A. If you are a hotelier and you want to sign up for the pilot program, look for that email coming either the end of the day today or first thing tomorrow morning. That will include the video to this webinar and some links and a free tool from MaskdAI to get you started. And it looks like we don't have any. Oh, here's another question. For our business, we have to call our customers to get orders. Can NOLA call our customers for them?
You're on mute, Gilbert. You're on mute.
I'm sorry about that. Right now, we are fully inbound calls, but we do have plans to go outbound, but not to call them for food orders, just to follow up in some cases on, let's say, like I said, NOLA remembers repeat customers. So in cases where someone who is a repeat customer stop patronizing, NOLA can do an outbound to, check on that person and stuff. But right now, we're fully inbound based. Thank you.
If a customer specifically asks to talk to a manager during the call, how do the phones notify that manager or staff member needs to pick up the call?
So we, during the onboarding, we take all the phone numbers that you want the calls to be transferred to. So if you need it to transfer to a manager, you just have to give us that phone number. We would fine tune and train her or train NOLA on recognizing that, hey, this is the manager's phone number. So if someone called in and say, hey, I need to speak to, Scott, and he's the manager, NOLA knows and recognizes Scott as the manager. So she actually transfers the call to that same phone number you provide us. So yeah.
What's the website to sign up? Is that the best way, or would it be better to reach out to your territory manager so that you can get a consultation?
Right. You can do both. You can sign up directly on our website, or you can reach out to your territory managers, or to book a free consultation with me. So that's either one works perfectly. The website is www.MaskdAI. That's MAS as in salt, K as in kite, D as in dog, AI as in artificial intelligence, and then .com. That's MASKDAI.com. So if you go to the Get Started page, you can basically sign up, and then we'll contact you directly to onboard you.
Does NOLA know how to identify scam phone calls?
Yes, particularly that. So with those type of calls, Nola understands the frameworks of her duty. So if it's not about a table reservation or a food order or an inquiry pertaining to your restaurant, she knows and she just declines call. So yes,
All right.
she does. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much. Like I said, this will be up on our website later on today. Look for the email in your inboxes. And for our members next month, we will have a webinar about our ServeSafe classes with somebody from ServeSafe at the national level on the call. One last question before we go. I work at a ski resort. Could NOLA direct phone calls to appropriate departments, give weather reports, answer questions on capacity and tickets available, and lesson reservations, etc.?
Yes, NOLA can do all of that, but we have to meet with you to understand your use case. Because right now, Resto is particularly for food orders, but we do have an enterprise, custom service that we can take custom, tasks like that. So it's basically, just imagine it as a voice that can be trained to do anything. So anything that requires a phone call to be handled in a certain way, we can basically have such conversations. So you can contact us through the website. We'll be happy to meet with you and have that conversation.
All right. Well, thank you again and have a great Wednesday.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Great
Thank
day.
you so
Great
much.
rest of the
Thank
week.
you, Scott. Thank you, Rat. Thank you,
Lisa.
Liz.
Thank you, Scott.
Bye.